You finish dinner, pour yourself a large glass of water, maybe a cup of tea, believing you're doing something healthy. And then, hours later, in the darkness of the night, your bladder wakes you again. Your eyes open, your sleep is shattered, and frustration begins to build because this cycle keeps repeating, night after night, week after week. But what if the problem is not your bladder at all? What if it's your daily habits quietly working against you? Here's a fact that may surprise you. Doctors estimate that millions of adults wake up at least once every night to urinate, and many wake up 2 or 3 times. This condition, known as nocturia, doesn't just steal your sleep. It steals your energy, your focus, your mood, and even your long-term health. Research has shown that people who wake frequently at night are more likely to suffer from fatigue, weakened immunity, weight gain, and higher risk of heart disease. Because every time you wake up, your body is pulled out of deep restorative sleep, the stage where healing, hormone balance, and tissue repair take place. And here's the shocking part. One of the most powerful triggers of nighttime urination is not disease, it's timing. Timing of fluids, timing of caffeine, timing of salt. Simple habits, repeated daily, can quietly overload your bladder while you sleep. Let's start with fluid timing, the hidden habit many people never question. Water is essential for life. Your kidneys depend on it to filter waste, balance electrolytes, and keep your body functioning properly. But drinking large amounts of fluid late in the evening creates a predictable biological response. Your kidneys continue producing urine while you sleep, filling your bladder when your body should be resting. Imagine pouring water into a balloon right before bedtime. Eventually, that balloon must release pressure. Your bladder works the same way. Studies in sleep medicine have shown that reducing fluid intake 2 to 3 hours before bedtime can significantly decrease nighttime urination episodes, not because you're dehydrated, but because your body has enough time to process the fluid before you lie down. And there's another powerful factor most people overlook. Your body redistributes fluids when you lie down. During the day, gravity pulls fluid into your legs and feet. That's why some people notice swelling in their ankles by evening. But when you lie flat at night, that fluid returns to your bloodstream. Your kidneys suddenly receive a surge of liquid to filter, and your bladder begins to fill while you're asleep. This is why many people wake up shortly after going to bed. It's not random, it's physiology. Now let's talk about caffeine, the silent bladder agitator hiding in plain sight. Caffeine is not just a stimulant for your brain, it's also a powerful diuretic, meaning it increases urine production. It stimulates your kidneys to release more fluid and irritates the lining of your bladder at the same time. This combination creates urgency, frequency, and nighttime awakenings. What makes caffeine especially dangerous is how long it stays in your system. Its half-life can last 5 to 7 hours, and in some people even longer. That means a cup of coffee at 3 p.m. can still be affecting your bladder at 10 p.m. And caffeine isn't only in coffee. It hides in tea, soft drinks, chocolate, energy drinks, and even some medications. Many people unknowingly consume caffeine throughout the day, keeping their bladder in a constant state of stimulation. Research has shown that reducing caffeine intake, especially in the afternoon, can dramatically reduce urinary urgency and nighttime trips to the bathroom. For some individuals, this single change leads to deeper sleep within days. But the story doesn't end there. There's another hidden trigger that quietly fuels nighttime urination, and it sits on dinner tables around the world every single day: salt. Salt is essential in small amounts, but modern diets contain far more sodium than the body needs. Processed foods, restaurant meals, packaged snacks, and fast food are loaded with hidden salt. And when sodium levels rise, your body responds by holding on to water. This fluid retention builds silently throughout the day. You may not notice it at first, but when you lie down at night, your body begins to release that stored fluid back into circulation. Your kidneys work overtime to remove the excess sodium and water, and your bladder fills again and again. Scientific studies have shown that people who reduce sodium intake experience fewer nighttime urination episodes and improved sleep quality. Even a moderate reduction in salt can make a measurable difference. Think about that for a moment. Not a medication, not a procedure, not an expensive treatment. A simple change in daily habits can transform your nights, because your bladder is not your enemy. It's responding to signals from your lifestyle. And here's something even more powerful. When you improve these habits, the benefits extend far beyond your bladder. Reducing evening fluids supports kidney efficiency. Limiting caffeine protects your nervous system. Lowering salt intake helps control blood pressure and reduces strain on your heart. Sleeping through the night strengthens your immune system, balances hormones, and restores mental clarity. Your body begins to repair itself in ways you can feel. You wake up with more energy. Your mind feels sharper. Your mood becomes calmer. Your resilience returns, all because your sleep was protected. So what does this look like in daily life? It starts with awareness. Drink most of your fluids earlier in the day when your body is active and able to process them efficiently. As evening approaches, gradually reduce intake, not to deprive yourself, but to give your kidneys time to finish their work. Choose water over caffeinated beverages after midday. Give your bladder a break from stimulation. Allow your nervous system to settle into a natural rhythm. And pay attention to salt. Read labels. Cook more meals at home. Use herbs and spices instead of excessive sodium. These are small steps, but they carry enormous power. Because every night you sleep without interruption, your body heals. Every uninterrupted sleep cycle strengthens your heart, sharpens your brain, and restores your energy. And every time you avoid that unnecessary trip to the bathroom, you protect the most valuable resource your body has. Rest, deep, uninterrupted, healing rest. So tonight, before you reach for that late glass of water, before you pour that evening coffee or snack on salty foods, pause for a moment. Ask yourself a simple question. Am I helping my body rest or making it work harder while I sleep? Because the path to calmer nights and a quieter bladder often begins with the simplest decisions you make long before your head touches the pillow. It happens quietly at first. A sudden urge you can't ignore. A leak when you cough, laugh, or rush to the bathroom. A restless night interrupted by yet another trip down the hallway in the dark. And you start to wonder, is my bladder getting weaker, or is my body trying to tell me something deeper? Here's the truth most people are never told. Your bladder does not work alone. It depends on a hidden network of muscles at the base of your body. Muscles you rarely think about, rarely see, and rarely train. These are the pelvic floor muscles, and they act like a supportive hammock holding your bladder, bowel, and in men, the prostate exactly where they belong. When these muscles are strong, they hold firm, they keep your bladder stable, they prevent sudden leaks. They allow you to sleep peacefully through the night. But when they weaken, even slightly, the entire system begins to lose control. And the frightening part is how common this weakness has become. Modern lifestyles have quietly eroded the strength of the pelvic floor. Long hours of sitting, lack of physical activity, chronic stress, aging, pregnancy, weight gain, and even persistent coughing can stretch and weaken these muscles over time. You may not feel it happening. You may not notice it at first, but your bladder does. Medical research has shown that weakened pelvic floor muscles are one of the leading causes of urinary urgency, leakage, and nighttime urination. In fact, studies in urology have demonstrated that targeted pelvic floor exercises can reduce urinary frequency and improve bladder control in both men and women, sometimes within just a few weeks. Think about that. Not a pill, not a surgery, not a complicated treatment, a simple exercise using muscles you already have. Here's why this works. Your pelvic floor muscles act like a valve controlling the flow of urine. They support the bladder and help keep the urethra closed until the right moment. When these muscles weaken, the bladder loses its support. Pressure builds, signals become unstable, urgency appears suddenly, often without warning. At night, the problem becomes even more noticeable. As your body relaxes during sleep, weak muscles lose even more tension. The bladder becomes less supported, and the urge to urinate arrives sooner than it should. But here's the powerful part of the story. Muscles are living tissue. They respond to training, they adapt, they grow stronger when challenged. Even if your pelvic floor has been weak for years, it can rebuild strength, just like any other muscle in your body. This is where pelvic floor contractions, commonly called Kegel exercises, become life-changing. These exercises target the exact muscles responsible for bladder control. They improve coordination between your brain and bladder. They increase muscle tone and endurance. They restore stability to the urinary system. And the results can be dramatic. Clinical trials have shown that regular pelvic floor training can reduce urinary leakage by up to 70%. Many participants reported fewer nighttime awakenings, stronger bladder control, and improved confidence in daily life. Because when your muscles become stronger, your bladder becomes calmer. But there's another critical factor that works hand in hand with muscle strength: blood sugar control. High blood sugar is one of the most overlooked triggers of frequent urination. When glucose levels rise in the bloodstream, your kidneys work harder to remove the excess sugar. They pull water from your tissues to flush it out, and that process creates more urine. More urine means more pressure on your bladder. More pressure means more nighttime trips to the bathroom. This is why frequent urination is often one of the earliest warning signs of prediabetes or diabetes. Many people dismiss it as a minor inconvenience, never realizing it could be a signal from their metabolism. Research has shown that even slightly elevated blood sugar levels can increase urine production and disrupt sleep patterns. Over time, this constant strain on the bladder can weaken its function and reduce quality of life. But the good news is that blood sugar is highly responsive to daily habits. Small changes can create powerful improvements. Regular movement is one of the most effective tools. A simple walk after meals helps muscles absorb glucose from the bloodstream, lowering blood sugar naturally. Just 10 to 20 minutes of walking can significantly reduce spikes in glucose levels. Balanced meals also play a critical role. Foods rich in fiber slow the absorption of sugar into the bloodstream. Protein helps stabilize energy levels. Healthy fats support hormone balance. Together, these nutrients create a steady metabolic environment, one that reduces excess urine production and protects bladder health. Imagine your body as a finely tuned system. When muscles are strong and blood sugar is stable, everything works in harmony. Signals become clear, pressure decreases, control returns. And here's something many people don't realize. Improving pelvic floor strength and blood sugar control doesn't just help your bladder, it transforms your entire body. Stronger muscles improve posture and core stability. Better blood sugar regulation reduces inflammation. Stable metabolism supports heart health, brain function, and long-term vitality. Sleep becomes deeper, energy becomes steady, confidence returns. Because when you trust your body again, life feels different. You stop worrying about leaks. You stop planning your day around bathrooms. You stop dreading the night. Instead, you rest, you recover. You wake up refreshed. And the journey begins with one simple step. Find the muscles you would use to stop urine midstream. Gently tighten them, hold for 5 seconds, then relax for 5 seconds. Repeat this 10 times. Do it in the morning, do it in the afternoon, do it in the evening. It takes less than 2 minutes. No equipment, no special location, no cost. Yet the impact can be profound. Week by week, your muscles grow stronger, your bladder becomes more stable, your sleep becomes more peaceful, and slowly, almost quietly, your nights begin to change. Fewer interruptions, less urgency, more rest, because the body has an incredible ability to heal when given the right support. Strengthen the muscles that protect your bladder. stabilize the blood sugar that drives urine production, and give your body the foundation it needs to restore control. Your bladder is not failing you. It's asking for strength. It's asking for balance. It's asking for attention. And when you respond, your body responds back with calm nights, steady control, and the deep, uninterrupted sleep you deserve.